Hi everyone out there. I welcome you all to yet another exciting video on Excel. In this video, I'm going to show you some advanced examples using IFS family function. In total, this IFS family function has gotten 6 different IFS function. To begin with, we have got an IFS. This is going to be a great replacement to the nested if function. At the next level, we will talk about SUMIFS and COUNTIFS. At the fourth level, we will talk about averageifs. Then we have gotten all new functions on MAXIFS and MINIFS. These 6 functions can help you to do data dicing efficiently. And let's see how to do this. The first function what we are going to see is IFS function. This function is available from Excel 2019 and Microsoft 365. If at all you are tired of using a nested if, not anymore, drop this function and simply move on to IFS function. Even before that, let me show you if and then I will take you to IFS. Let's analyze the situation. I have gotten various supermarket managers calling in for a restocking. Owing to the pandemic, even we do not have much stock and we have to prioritize who's going to get it and who's not going to get it immediately. In order to do this situation, I'm taking help from if function. If function can perform a logical test. It can be a greater than, lesser than, not equal to, and so many other things. First, what I'm going to do, I'm going to check in their stock level, take the stock level, and I'm performing a condition saying that when it is less than 50, if you find the value to be true, what you should do. I'm going to say less stock. If it is false, get sufficient stock. And this is going to get us wherever they have gotten less stock and wherever they have gotten sufficient stock. But if at all this is going to be very cumbersome for you to identify what decision you need to make, a simple solution, just go back to the formula to this and remove the value from value if false and leave it empty. When I say leave it empty, just put the double quotes, that's all. Hit enter. So wherever you have gotten more stocks, it's going to leave it empty and this is going to give you the focus. But imagine a situation wherein I want to see a less stock happening or high, then I want to see a low or medium. If function cannot handle this. This is when we are going to take the help from IFS function. Let me show you how to do IFS function for this scenario. Pass in IFS function. What is the logical test? I'm checking in if their stock level is greater than 60, deny. Second level, if their stock is greater than 50, hold. Any time their stock level may come down. And if their stock level is lesser than 50, then restock. So these are all the conditions that I've specified. But by any chance, if you want to specify any number of conditions, you can do that. When I hit enter, you're going to have that. Let me send it down. Here you're going to have a clear-cut instruction to your team regarding what decision to be communicated to the respective supermarket managers. This is the reason I say IFS is better than nested if function. Let's move on to the next function. COUNTIFS function is available from Excel 2010 onwards. In this, we are going to look at how to handle single criteria and multiple criteria. When it comes to the previous section of IFS function, we have seen how many conditions does it handle. We have seen multiple conditions it can handle. That's the speciality of it. In the same way, COUNTIFS can also handle large criteria as well. At the same time, this can handle single criteria also. Let me show you this. Pass in COUNTIFS function. Where is the criteria range? The criteria range is here. And what is the criteria that we are going to specify? I'm specifying 50. Watch it closely here. I haven't used any double quotes within this formula. Why? It can handle the number just like that because there are no operator. When I close and hit enter, it's going to get us the result. On the other hand, for the same, when we want to use an operator, this is not going to work in. Let me show you that as well. Where is the criteria range? The criteria range is here. And what is the criteria that we want to specify? We are specifying greater than 50. I haven't used anything, just I have given the operator and the number. When I hit enter, this will not allow us to proceed. This will show there is an error in the formula. Look at this one. Basically, what is the error? Whenever I'm going to use anything other than the number, it should be always within double quotes. When I hit enter, you're going to have the result. This is the speciality of just giving a number and using a operator here. Now let's see how to use the multiple conditions here. Pass in COUNTIFS function. First, take the criteria. I just want to find out for the sales representative and which sales representative specifically I'm looking for. Let's say Aditi. And what is the next criteria? I just want to find out the details for the month of January. So I'm selecting the month range and the criteria is going to be January. After this, I just want to find out what account they have acquired. So I'm selecting the type of the accounts, and within that I'm interested to find out new accounts, how many new clients they have acquired. I hit enter. We can see Aditi for the month of January, she has acquired only one new client. In the same way, we can just modify anything here. Instead of Aditi, we can find it for Cyrus, and Cyrus has also gotten only one. But if at all I do not want to find out for the candidate, or instead of that I just want to find out all the sales representative, how many new accounts they have acquired for the month of January. Then we can see for the month of January, we have gotten 4 accounts. And to this, you can add in another candidate also, or you can find out for the month of January, how many existing accounts they have maintained. We have gotten 2. This is the best way that you can dice the multiple criteria here. Let's move on to the next one. So far, we have looked into the single and multiple criteria. Now we are going to move on to advanced examples using COUNTIFS function. In the previous case, we have done the count function, but the major difference was here we have gotten the age, and the age is just treated as a number. But whereas in this case, we have got the number in terms of a date of birth and in the date format and how Excel is going to handle. If at all you're new to date function and not knowing how to use it, you can follow a simple one. And imagine a situation you have gotten the year in one column and the month in the another column and the date in another column. When you have to combine all these things, you can use this simple function date, choose the year and then choose the month and then choose the date. Close and hit enter, you're good to go. This is the speciality of using a date function. I'm going to use this date function inside the COUNTIFS function. Let's do it. Pass in the COUNTIFS function. Where is the criteria? Choose the criteria range here. And what is the criteria that we want to specify? And say greater than or equal to the year 1980 onwards we want to find out. So straight away I cannot pass in 1980 because here we have gotten the year only. But whereas here we have gotten the date of birth in the year, month and date format. So what I'm going to do for this, I'm going to use the ampersand symbol. Consider greater than or equal to. Along with this, consider the date as well. Where is the cell reference of this year? Already we have gotten at B6 position, comma, what is the month? Manually you can enter this one. Always ensure that when you're going to use date function within COUNTIFS or SUMIFS or any kind of a IFS function, it should be always the least one. Start with the month 01, comma, start with the date, the beginning of it. Close, comma. Again choose this COUNTIF range. And once you have done this, again give lesser than or equal to double quotes. Now we want to find out those who are born between 1980 till 1989. This is what we want to find out. So lesser than or equal to, again ampersand symbol and date. Where is the year? If at all you are using date function within any of the IFS function, then start with the lowest date. That is what we have done here. And start with the highest date here. So the month is 12 and the day is 31. Close the bracket. Again, close the bracket. Hit enter. You can see between 1980 to 1989, 3 people are born. Now I can just drag it down to see how this is going to take place. So from the entire data set, we can see starting at 2004, we do not have any data here. So from the entire data set, we can see there is nobody who is born after 2005 onwards. Maximum we have gotten only 2001. The number of people who are born between particular year. Let's move on to the next one. Take a look at this particular problem. I have gotten the name, the order date and the status. What we want to do here is we want to find out how many number of orders were cancelled and how many are pending. This is what we want to identify. At the outset, it's going to look extremely complex to solve this, but I'm going to show you a simple trick which can solve complex problem into a very simple one. Normally what we tend to do, especially when we use IFS, any kind of a IFS function, let's see, I'm passing in the COUNTIFS function, then we will choose the criteria range, and within the criteria range we will give cancelled, and again we will choose the criteria range, and then we move on. Not anymore. Get rid of all this one. I'm going to show you a very simple trick. So once we have chosen the criteria range for the criteria 1, insert a curly brackets here. And within this curly brackets, give whatever the delivery status we have gotten. But please be assured you are going to go in the order what you have written. Here you have gotten a cancel, and here you are giving a pending one. Then it goes and looks for a pending one and return in the place of a cancel one. This can create some sort of confusion. So whatever at the header you have gotten, please be assured to bring in the same here. I have given cancel, then pending status, then dispatched, then we have gotten a return status, and close the curly brackets here. If at all you're going to think that I'm going to use the dynamic array or array function, control shift enter, I'm not going to do that. Close the bracket and just hit enter and wait for the magic to take place. Now you can see automatically this has gotten the numbers at every destination. But how did we do this? Just have a look at this formula. Look at the formula starting from the curly brackets. We have passed this as a array constant, and that's the reason we have got count at the respective places. Yes, it is amazing, and you can make any kind of a complex problem into a simple one if you can just give some time to the problem and try to understand. Let's move on to the next one. With this we have done with COUNTIFS function. Let's move on to SUMIFS. SUMIFS function is going to be real fun for so many reasons. Here also we are going to take a look at the basic SUMIFS function, how to use it, and then we will move on to advanced examples of SUMIFS function. Now look at this data here. We have gotten the month, the sales representative status, and the sales that they have done. Sales in terms of thousands. Now what we want to do is, we have gotten the same header here and we have gotten the data here. So now what we are going to do, we are going to pass in the SUMIFS function. This is also similar to COUNTIF. The only difference is it can just add up the number and let us know. Count can give you the head count of the numbers or the criteria that is happening. I have passed the SUMIFS function, and what is the first criteria? We can see it's the sum range. Once we have chosen the sum range, at the next level we have to take what is the criteria range. I want to find out for the sales representative as the first criteria, and within the sales representative, just look at here. With all this COUNTIFS function, what we have done, we have fed the data within double quotes, because clearly I have told you anything other than the number should be always within double quotes, but not anymore. If at all you're going to have similar such table and use the cell references, you don't have to do that. Now look at this one. I'm taking the sales representative Cyrus, comma. Next level, I'm taking the month, comma, and I'm giving the cell reference. Note, I'm not using the double quotes here. Again, I'm looking at the status, and for the status, I'm taking the new account. Close and hit enter, you will get the answer. And if you're going to tell me, no, Karpagam, you're not going to get it, just wait for it. Yes, this is the speciality of it. So every time what you have to do is you have to come and change it here. If at all you're going to feel that's going to be a real difficult one, you can use the data validation here. And by any chance, let's say you're going to change it for the month of March here, and automatically that gets updated. For the month of March, we can see it's only Badrish and Aditi, and there is no Cyrus sales here. But whereas we can find it for Aditi, immediately we can see it has gotten the result. This is the speciality of giving a cell references instead of doing a hardwire with the formula. Let's move on to the next one. Look at this particular table. This is one of the most challenging questions that I come across in all my training. And not only the challenging question, this is one such problem that all of us come across on a day-to-day basis. Look at this table here. We have gotten the name, we have gotten the order date, the delivery date, status, and the quantity we have gotten. Now what we have to do is we have to extract the data wherein the order is placed but it is still pending or it is still to be delivered. We want only those details, and if at all Excel is successful in doing that, only then go and look at the quantity and give a total out of it. In order to do this, the problem is complex here, but the solution is going to be very simple. I'm going to show you a small trick how you can do this instead of going for choosing a lots of criteria here. First, pass in the SUMIFS function. First, choose the sum range. Sum range is always the number. And where is the criteria one? We are not going to look at the status. Instead of that, I'm going to choose the order date. Once I have taken this one, I'm just going to trick Excel to look into the data. I'm going to use a not equal to symbol. Once you have done this, move on to the next level. Choose the delivery date, and within the delivery date, choose equal to. We are instructing Excel in the order date find non-empty cell, and in the delivery date find out the empty cell. If you are successful in doing that, then go ahead and sum all that quantity that's available. When I hit enter, you can see we have got the answer. It's not only for a pending order, you can do it for the cancelled order, you can do it for written or dispatched one. This is one of the most challenging problem that we have, but this is one of the most simple and the efficient way of solving this problem that I have come across. I'm sure you have enjoyed this part. Let's move on to next one. MAXIFS is all new function in Excel. It's available in Excel 2019 and Microsoft 365. Look at the sales data here. I want to find out what is the maximum sales for a specific month, and specifically I want to find it out for the month of March. I can hear that you will ask me to do a max function. Let me do that. But the real problem is this particular function is going to consider the entire data range, and from that it's going to get in a maximum data. But what we want is we want only for the month of March. So this is when max function cannot help us, and I'm going to take the help from MAXIFS function. And what is the maximum range? Sales data is the maximum range. And what is the criteria range one? Is the order date. And within this, what criteria are we looking for? I'm looking for greater than or equal to. And very clearly, I have specified already, whenever we are using the date, we have to use the ampersand symbol, or we have to concat the date and the operator. So I'm going to take the cell reference from this one. And we have gotten the start date, and for the end date also we have to give. So that's when criteria 2, I'm moving on. And within this, I'm looking for lesser than or equal to. And for the date, I'm using a ampersand symbol and using the cell reference here. Close and hit enter. We are going to have the answer. For the month of March, the maximum answer what we have gotten is 11157. After finishing this, I want to change it to April or May. So this is when this function cannot handle it because we have used the cell reference, and every time we have to change the start date as well as the end date. So to get rid of this problem, I'm going to show you a simple one. I'm going to nest an EOMONTH. If at all you're new to EOMONTH function, choose the start date, and for month, when you want exactly the same month end of the day, then gives 0. When I hit enter, you're going to have the dates. Or say for example, if you do not want this month end date but you want the next month end date, then give 1. You're going to have the April month. And if you want 2 months away from this month, then go on to 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's say from this month, I want the 6th month end of the date. Then it's going to be 30th September. Instead of giving this data every time changing this data, I can just go ahead and change it in the EOMONTH function. Now let's pass in MAXIFS function. Maximum range is the sales data. And what is the criteria range? It's the order date. And what criteria are we going to use? Greater than or equal to, and ampersand symbol, concat the date, start date, comma. And for the end date also we have to give the criteria. So I'm choosing the criteria range, comma. Now this time it's going to be lesser than or equal to, close the double quotes, and I'm specifying EOMONTH, give the start date and the end date is 0 month. Close and another bracket, hit enter, you're going to have this. So whenever you're looking for these kind of changes, say for example now I'm going to change it for the end of April month, 2 months data we are looking for the maximum sales between March and April, then I can give it. So that's when we are going to have in 14,408 as the maximum sales for a 2 months period. I'm sure this was very interesting. Let's move on to the next one. Similar to MAXIFS, MINIFS is also available in Excel 2019 and Microsoft 365. In this particular table, I just want to find out what is the minimum sales quantity for any given vegetable. For this, let's pass in MINIFS function. And what is the minimum range? Sales quantity is the minimum range. The criteria range 1 is the vegetables. And within this, what is the criteria that we are going to specify? Let's say I want to find it out for tomato, and close and hit enter. We are going to have minimum is 116. You will come across we have gotten tomato, cherry, Roma and so many other variety. It finds out what is the minimum quantity for tomato alone but not for the other variety. This is a single condition. We can perform multiple conditions also on the same. I'm passing in MINIFS function, sum range. And what is the criteria range 1? It's the vegetables. And what is the criteria? Let's say we want to find out for tomato cherry. And for which supermarket we want to find out. So I'm taking the criteria range as the supermarket. And within this, I'm going to take Reliance Fresh. And I want to find out what is the minimum quantity for this particular vegetable. It's 138 that we have gotten. But by any chance, you just want to do the minimum in all the tomatoes. So it's not only a tomato, you can look at cherry tomato, Roma tomato and the other variety as well. So this is when we are going to use MINIFS multiple condition, but in order to extract the minimum from a specific range, this is when we will use the wildcards. Let me show you that as well. MINIFS, take the minimum range, criteria, vegetables, and within this vegetables we are taking tomato, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a asterisk symbol next to the tomato, which indicates that anything which has got the word tomato, go and identify that one and from that take the minimum and give it to me. When I hit enter, you can see it has gotten 147. In the first formula, you can see we have used in just the word tomato. But whereas in this one, we have used the wildcards to find out whatever the variety that you have gotten, just go and look for the word tomato. If it matches, from that get the minimum one. Yes, you can do wonders with wildcards. Let's move on to the next one. Averageifs is the last function of this video. Averageifs is available from Excel 2019 onwards. Whenever you want to find the mean value, averageifs can help you with a multiple condition. Here I just want to find out what is the tomato average for a given supermarket. For this I'm passing in averageifs. Where is the average range? Here. And what is the criteria range? I have taken the vegetables, and within the vegetables I'm taking cherry tomato, and in terms of the supermarket I'm taking Reliance Fresh. We have gotten the average of 109.5. We have gotten 138 here and 81 here, and based on that it has taken the average. But what happens when we do not want to find that without a variety? I don't want the variety at all. So similarly we can use a wildcard for doing this. Averageifs, I'm taking the average range, and what is the criteria range? Vegetables, and within this I just want to find it for tomato, and anything that starts with tomato, look into that, and if at all you can find that out, take it and do an average of it. Now you can see it has taken all the tomato whatever is available, cherry tomato, tomato cherry, tomato Roma and all variety, and had done an average on it. Let me show you another example here. I just want to find it out for tomato, and I'm just going to say greater than 100. Now let's look at the situation for the product tomato. Wherever the quantity is greater than 100, only then I want to do the average. Let's see how to do this. Pass an averageifs function. Where is the average range? Where is the range criteria? This is the range criteria, and within this range I want to find it out for tomato, and I'm using a wildcard here. If I don't want to use the wildcard, straight away I can give this cell reference. And second, I'm going to take the quantity again, and within this quantity I'm going to say I want to find it out for this particular quantity. Close and hit enter. We are going to have the answer. Now you can see the difference when you have taken for only for the tomato and you have taken without the variety what is the average, and when we have specified the condition greater than 100. Now let's change the value and see whether this is going to have any impact. Shifting it to less than 100, and now you can see we have gotten 64. I'm sure you have enjoyed this video. Thanks for joining me. Stay tuned for more such videos. Wish you all a wonderful time ahead. Good day.